Come the women for the vault. We'll be looking for 2 vaults in this final. And a relatively young field here, Christine.
Yes, and one of the outstanding features of it is it has a lot of countries that are not often represented in world finals taking part. Many of the established top nations haven't had gymnasts qualify for this, so it's going to be a very interesting final.
Well, the favourite here is Mckayla Maroney, a quarter of a mark ahead of the rest of the field. Now, that might not sound a lot, but there's just under a mark that separates this top 8. It's going to be very, very close indeed. Well, we were saying about the ages, and it is a relatively young field, apart from the gymnast on the end, who is wearing the pink leotard. Oksana Shizavitna, who was winning gold medals at the World Championships before all of the rest of the gymnasts in this final were born. I mean, it's quite remarkable that she's still competing at this level, Chris.
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. Unprecedented in gymnastics, but she's a great athlete. She trains hard and well. She originally was born in Uzbekistan, but competed for the Soviet Union, then Uzbekistan, the favourite, Mckayla Maroney, and now lives and works in Germany. So here she is, quite a special character.
Well, it's worth a mention that you can see in the middle of the field in the blue leotard there, Pinu Abru actually has the highest difficulty. She went for a 7-1 in qualification. Unbelievable. So she hits.
Yes, it's the handspring double front that we see from the men fairly frequently, but of course the women's vault is lower, so you haven't got you're not starting as high, and they're generally not quite got the same power as the men. So it really is a big vault for one of the female gymnasts to try and attempt.
Well, the gymnasts don't get a warm-up here. They'll warm up in the training gym outside, come straight in. So it's quite an opportunity to go first here, because fresh from the warm-up gym. So Alexa Moreno Medina, qualified 6th, just 17 years old. This her first vault world final.
Powers down this vault runway, lifts, lovely 1.5 twist off the handspring, piked front somersault, little difficulty with direction, but a very ambitious vault.
Well, the twist here is that with the second vault, they have to get on to the horse in a different manner.
There's the front somersault, smack in the twist 1.5 times, and just about, she undercooked that. But the timing of the twist with the somersault is so important. If you look at this, you see the landing is slightly to one side and quite low with the shoulders.
Yes, you were saying, Matt, she has to now, that was a forward entry. She put her hands forwards, now she has to do a backward entry, which means a half turn on or a flip on.
14.733 for vault number 1, 6-3 difficulty. This next vault is slightly easier. You can see the difficulty just come up there, 5.2. Wouldn't like to try it myself, but
it's all relative, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So the Mexican with her second vault.
Half turn on, straight Sukahara with full twist, really very nicely executed, that one. But over a mark less in difficulty.
Have a look at that run. She really does come out of the blocks, doesn't she? It's unbelievable. Look at it. A little bit slow off the top there, almost lost some rotation, but nice and clean in the air. Just slightly slow, snapping the arms forward towards the hips from the top of the horse. A tiny pike, a deep landing, one pace to the side.
.216 is her final score after both vaults. Obviously delighted just to be in the final. It's the first final, as we said earlier. Jade Barbosa. She got the bronze at the last World Championships on this piece of apparatus. She focuses in and goes.
Another powerful and attacking run. Double twist from the Yachenko approach. Very clean in the air. Nice strong attack there throughout that vault.
Yes, we saw her compete in the Beijing Olympics. She was a finalist on vault, and she brings all that experience to bear there. Lovely lift, makes the double twist look easy, and you can see how nice and upright she was on landing. So the judges won't have that big deduction for a chest down. Good straight legs on the flight on, legs locked together. Really a pretty efficient vault. Perhaps just a little cross of the legs on the second twist. And a tiny bit offline, I think we could see from that angle.
A 5.8 given for difficulty, so the score of 14.866 was out of 15.8.
That's right, less than 1 mark of deductions there, which is pretty good vaulting.
Right, Jid, what have you got lined up for vault number 2?
Same attack. Very nicely. Oh, she staggered at the end, but she was on line and just staggered towards the end. But the half on, she's hurt herself, look.
Well, I noticed some tape on her ankle, just down the side there. I wonder if that's got something to... I think it's the other leg, actually, that she's hobbling on.
It wasn't actually on the landing. It was one of those strange things where she stepped backwards. Here, the half turn on, she lands nice, and then... Oh, yes. She stepped back. She really turned it there, didn't she?
Wow.
That's one of those very bizarre things. She concentrated to land properly, and then as she stepped back, it just really turned.
Ligaments. Very, very painful.
Well, she's certainly putting a brave face on. My word, that looked nasty. Well, 14.566. She goes ahead of Moreno Medina. Taiha Tan Phan from Vietnam, the 8th highest qualifier, and it's a birthday tomorrow.
Very special time for the gymnast from Vietnam, and really very nice handspring, pike front somersault with the 1.5 twist off.
Let's see what she does with the pike shape. Kicks it out very strongly. Left the shape in for slightly too long. Need to be straighter on that 1.5 twist, but really it's a difficult vault. And you see the pike left her shoulders down at the end. Kick it out there, but she kept the pike in, and she was a little bit deep on landing, but a very, very good attempt from her.
It's her first visit to the vault final, the World Championships.
And that deduction will be reflected in the E score, the execution score. That's where the judges take those marks off for landing deeply.
She was given the 5.9 for that in qualification, so second vault that she's going to be aiming for will be slightly easier. She's opting for the 5.3.
She looks really quite a slight gymnast, doesn't she, for big, powerful vaulting.
But you were saying earlier, isn't it great to see these nations in a world final? It's fabulous to see.
Wonderful, because really when you view on television you think maybe just a few nations are taking part, but there's lots of countries here, and the gymnasts who make the finals have battled through a huge field.
Van scores 14.6. Third highest score vault that we've seen in this final so far. No, that score will be added to the score of this next vault. She wants an overall score of over 14.566 to go ahead. Jade Barbosa. This one a 5.8 difficulty.
Will need to be very precise. She flips on beautifully. Oh, double twist. That was a nicely performed vault. I honestly, she's slight, and I didn't really expect such a good, strong vault as that.
Lovely to see that. Yurchenko, good snap from the top. And there's the double twist, and she just couldn't control the landing. But here we are, still a little angle in the shoulders. She could have snapped a bit more, but very good to convert it into the air. Tiny cross ankles, but the double twist, was it all the way around?
I did just wonder that. Just the tiniest hint of the feet not being right the way round.
Well, she did qualify down in 8th. Would that be a 5.8 then, if it was the double?
Yes,
No, yeah.
yes. And I think they had put a 5.8 up.
Oh.
So she, in qualification, she'd only done a vault worth 5.3. So she obviously decided to up her game for the final, and she did so very successfully, actually.
And when you see that, she's enjoying the moment. It's you know, it's a new experience for her. It's a great achievement. She's in a world final, and she's savouring every second. Look.
Absolutely, but the judges will be having a sort of deep conversation about whether they think it got right round. If they feel it hasn't, they'll credit it only as 1.5, and then the start value goes back to 5.3.
Well, yes, given a 5.8, 14.733, an overall score of 14.66. She goes ahead of Jade Barbosa.
Well, it was certainly worth the gamble.
Next, Tatiana Nabieva, representing Russian Federation.
Tatiana Nabieva, 17-year-old Russian, has a heap of medals. World Cup circuit, just outside the medals at the Euros.
Expect plenty of power. Double twist, but you can see quite loose-legged, and that's a feature of the work. It's difficult, but it's got to be clean at this level. Oh, look, she doesn't look too happy, does she?
No, I think the word is that she's quite difficult in training, and certainly she hit the top of the platform with her knees already bent. They get better during the vault, but really that's quite untidy at the start, and the judges have watched her a lot now. As you said, Matt, she's won a heap of medals, and people are looking for that fault now.
Well, how simple will she go with the second vault? She did a 5.2 in qualification. Interesting to see if she'll stick with that, or if, because the competition is quite high, she'll go even higher with the difficulty. Given a 5.8 for difficulty there, and a score of 14.566. Well, he has to up the difficulty here. But she will have already submitted what vault she's going to do, so you can't react too much to the competition and what they do. Vieva salutes the judges and has opted for a 5.2. start.
Half on, and Pike Sammy half off. And look, that she's not enjoying it out there. She's not giving it max. She's not really appreciating she's in a world final.
She certainly doesn't look happy, but this is a very nice clean vault. The half turn on, little untidy legs at the beginning, but the front somersault with the half turn off, good direction, because it's easy to lose direction when you're making that round off and half turn on. Times very nicely the half turn out. For the top difficulty, she needed to have put an extra twist in there.